What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to episode number 15 of the TD Markets podcast. You are joined by myself, Zander, my esteemed colleague, Seppo, and my new esteemed colleague, Ashley. Ashley is new to the team, and he'll be joining us from here going forward from the educational point of view and streaming point of view. So we welcome him with open arms and look forward to seeing him do some great stuff.
Of course, we're happy to be back as always, and warm welcome to Ashley. As Zander said, the new member in the team. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of him, just like how you've been seeing me. You're gonna see a lot of him, of course, on our live streams, you know, the thumbnails, and on our social media. And yeah, man, should we kick it off with the next season already? Or
Let's just start with a view. Guys, this is the view from our office in Santon. We sort of changed it up a little bit just to give you guys a different perspective of the skyline.
Yep. Hope you guys love the background, you know, just a quick change, see how it looks. But it looks good. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. I think also good afternoon from me. The colleague 3 that's under mentioned is going to introduce me. So I thought, let me just get it out there. Colleague 3, but yes, newly joined member. Great to be here. Thanks everybody for watching.
100%. Yeah. You wanna take it a kickstart, you know?
Yeah, a bit of a recap. Like last week we had FMS AS.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Lots of people.
It was busy.
Lots of people.
Really busy. Like, so there were some interesting conversations happening as well. We were joined, like our CEO was on stage as well. Had a bit of a talk of like the market itself and where the whole environment is going. So it was good to see, and it was a nice little bit of exposure. And to top it off, we won 2 awards.
Yeah. Someone says congratulations on the chat.
Oh yeah, thanks guys.
Congratulations.
Ashley joining.
Well, look, we won 2 awards, most trusted broker.
Yeah, Africa's most trusted broker, and then we actually won like the best STP and ECM broker as well. So
STP and ECM.
just rest assured, if you're trading on our platform, you're definitely trading with the best.
Yeah, and thank you so much to everyone who joined us. I mean, we had a lot of people coming to us, you know, the ones that recognize me, that know me, of course, from a few years back. They came to us, you know, we were just there deep in conversations, you know, talking about all things markets and everything else after that. But the FMAS was a really successful event.
Yeah, successful, great. I think I heard they're saying they want to take it to Cape Town next year, so very interesting and excited to see when they do that actually.
We should be the headliners, don't you guys think?
Yeah.
Like honestly, like I feel like we should have streamed the CPI event from that stage.
Cape Town one definitely gonna do that.
Yeah, we'll put in
We'll
an
see what
application.
event. Yeah, we'll see what event.
What did you guys think about Amar talking about trust?
And like it's one of the big things, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing in this environment where a lot of brokers sort of either get suspended, licenses get withdrawn, and especially from a longevity of a client perspective, like trust is definitely a big thing. And it's not necessarily just about like withdrawing your money and getting your withdrawals out from a broker, but it's about how your trading environment is and how you can build a relationship. Like you're supposed to phone your account manager and chat to him about whatever you want to.
Yeah.
And that's sort of a business and model that we want in the company, is having that trust aspect with clients to see, listen, if there's anything good or bad, like come to us and we can sort out
The
something.
entire service chain package to
100%. It's like a private banker sort of a view to trading.
Yeah, you know, we're living in a world where trust is very important, especially in money. Right?
Money particularly.
What we're doing right now. So, and also because we value client relationship and longevity, right? We ensure that clients can trust us. You know, we're regulated, we've got a license. We just won 2 awards to solidify our position, so to say, right? So yeah, so trust is very important when it comes to, I don't want to say, I almost said something.
Say it.
Almost said something. You know, I'm as you guys see, I'm black, right? And with black people, with us, money, you want the utmost trust we can get with concerning our money. So yeah, so it's very important in what we do right now.
No, I agree with you, man. Like, Just making sure your money is safe. That's the big thing.
100%, 100%. You know, people have interesting stories out there. You know, and it's sad what happened and what is happening in our industry. You know, there's a lot of scams out there.
Mm.
It's sad, but
Especially in this industry.
in this industry,
Yeah.
100%. It's sad, but you know, people need to know the right places to go to.
Yes.
Right.
Who's regulated?
Who's regulated and all of
Yes.
that. And also a bit of education is needed to understand what the regulation is and all of that. But I think what we've been doing so far, and I'm not talking about this because I'm part of TD Markets, but we've been doing so far, seeing the growth of the company, I can safely say that people who are with us, you know, they're in good hands.
Absolutely.
Good hands, 100%. And we're hoping that everyone who's watching, you will come forth. You know, not come forth, but you will be with us. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Yeah, you guys enjoy.
CPI?
We had CPI last week. Before we do that, let's the CPI was the only event like a huge event last
Huge
week.
event last
Yeah,
week.
CPI was the only thing like last week, and
Mm.
I think the only thing was that inflation year on year was the only thing that sort of shocked the market. Everyone was sort of expecting like that 0.5% to
Yeah.
5% to come out, and it came out a little bit lower than that. CPI came out like as expected. It's at 0.4%. It's just
Yeah, and we did a stream on that. The figures were just, you know, it's sort of like what we forecasted.
Yeah, like I thought it was going to be a bit choppy,
Yeah.
and it sort of had that big spike up and then came down substantially like in the following hours after that for that dollar strength to come into the markets.
Yeah. Were you checking out the report?
Yes, I was. I think what I would have liked for us to do, maybe also just jump into, seeing as we're checking the reports,
Yeah.
is maybe check out some of the forecasts with the inflation and with the interest rate. I think, you know, we did put some charts up there for you guys just to see. I mean, they're really trying to curb it to really make sure that it does not push up. You can see there's a push down. 2024 is the forecast, and look at the levels that they are forecasting to actually go to. This is inflation, right?
Yeah, and it's still a bit below
It-
the
it-
Fed sort of forecast.
Yes.
I still think come June, July, we might actually be lower than that.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I think we're sort of still on track.
June, July this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year. Can you compare this to that Fed rate quickly, the interest rate? Now look at that. Look at the forecast 2024 looking to peak around that 5%.
Yeah, we spoke about it during I think it was the FOMC stream. Like, I don't necessarily see them raising the interest rate a bit higher than it is at the moment. It's like, I think this is where we'll stick until we actually see it actually cut a bit down lower.
Yeah.
I do still think like there's like that cut's predicted in like April next year. I think we might see it to the latter part of this year, to be honest.
Yeah.
You need to make a dollar a bit cheaper there, a little bit cheaper than what it is now.
Yeah, I'm just thinking from that real interest rate point of view. We spoke about it, but in the last podcast or the last stream and podcast that we did, I think that real interest rate is going to be substantially higher in the next 3 months, and that's when it's going to like put a little bit of a halt on that Fed. My point of view is like we're still going to be like under 4% come the end of July. Like I would want to see what the Fed is actually going to start doing in that. I don't think it's going to be the next FOMC meeting, the meeting after that.
On the previous one, they spoke about possible pause.
A pause.
A possible pause in the market. And when you take a look at this forecast, it's indicating there's pauses that they are predicting pauses to come in. But you know, I mean, this is like, you know, according to trading economics, of course, from now until next year for 12 months, basically.
It's a bit too consistent that pause is too consistent.
Yeah, the 12 months pause.
Yeah, it's a bit too consistent. We need to see a bit of movement there. I mean, if you go to the non-farm payroll, I think we also have a chart on that to compare. Look at that. Very interesting stats also coming down. But the dollar index, I mean, we chatted about it a little bit briefly about it actually being in a bearish momentum as well. I think it's stuck between the 105 and the 101 point area. That's the DXY. We just go to a monthly chart here.
Yeah, there's the monthly chart.
Is that the monthly chart? Just look at the point system there. it's at that pivot point there, the start of this year. Can you see that? Is that the 101 and the 105?
Yeah, one is somewhere in here.
Yeah, so it's stuck in between that range there. So the question, on my mind is we break down, obviously how does that then move with the chart that we've just put in place? If it goes up, how does that also then correlate with the charts that we've just put in place? But you can see that that peak over there has broken out of that entire resistance previously. So exactly, it's broken out completely. And so we're seeing a very large retracement, but it's not a reversal yet, because if it's a reversal, it has to switch or go all the way down to that support area at the bottom, which you can see sort of like a double bottom, if you will.
Yes, like structurally, where the
Structurally,
market is,
yes.
yeah, what market is.
Yes, it's still a retracement back. How far? It's the market.
Mhm.
So, but if we break below, what's that point system right at the bottom there? What's that?
Right, there's a bit far, but yeah, around this
So
double bottom there.
yes, so every time that 100-point mark is violated, we see the depreciating dollar. It has to be above the 100-point mark to know that this currency is obviously appreciating. So if we have to break down below there, then obviously the dollar is a depreciation phase, which affects everything else that we just chatted about.
Very true.
This is an interesting chart, and at the FMAS, there's a client who came to me and wanted my input on the DXY, and we were talking the same language, me and him, basically, right? So it's an interesting chart because, as you said, this move to the downside structurally does not indicate any reversal as yet, even though it's still dropping, right? But at the same time, it looks very aggressive. It looks very sharp, which might mean that there are two possibilities: either like I think short-term downtrend might be the word to use, since we haven't broken any structure of the bigger trend. So we have this weekly ascending structure, right? And then, of course, where the market is, someone might say is preparing for a higher low, right? But looking at how sharp this move is here, it's not really indicating there's a continuation coming as yet, right?
Do you mean to the upside?
To the upside
I'm
as
with you.
yet, right? So what I would want to do here is to wait for price action to develop, so that I can see those indications that, all right, we might be changing, right? There's a lot of, like, I'm looking at this higher low, lower high here, right? Market came back down. And that possibility of the market creating another lower high is still there. And I'm basing this from the fact that you mentioned this area here, right? So we had the first spike to the upside, which is the first lower high, which is this one here. So the scenarios I'm looking for on this one is if we come back to this area again and then we reject this area, creating another lower high, we could be well going to break these lows. So that is the view I'm actually, or rather the sort of like the indication or confirmation I'm waiting for, so to say. Right. At the same time, I'm well aware that there's a possibility that the market can still break down. So where the market is, we have these two areas, this resistance, this support here, and we'll see what will happen. A push to the upside could give trading opportunities on other currencies, right? Same as a push to the downside. But now going back to that NFP chart, let's open that NFP chart. There we go. So this is really interesting because we've been getting stronger NFP numbers.
Yes.
Right, and then they're forecasting that it's gonna drop. I wonder what they're basing this from.
I think for the most part, it might be this sort of recessionary period that they're assuming is going to happen. Like we are still very much in this period of scare with regards to high interest rates. And that might be very well the only case where they would say it's going to drop. We haven't necessarily seen the data supporting it just yet. But we also have seen the consolidation of around the 200,000. So obviously, like, job data isn't a chart to sort of sit and analyze and predict how the patterns are shaping up. But if they are sort of forecasting that we are going to go to, like, let's say negative 100 jobs, that's going to be quite significant. And that's definitely going to be cause for recessionary sort of talks.
Which is not always bad. If you look at it, some recessions, it gives guys a a punch in the right direction to say this is what we need to work on to get back onto the ground. I know it's not difficult, but I think me and Zander, we chatted. T, you were also in the brief discussion. I just arrived.
Yeah.
We actually chatted about the market being in balance at this moment in time.
Yeah.
We've seen consistency before, and for the past 2-3 years, it's been 4 years, maybe it's been in balance. What do you guys think about the Nasdaq? Obviously, with the dollar index on the Nasdaq, the US 30 reacting to what's happening with the dollar index.
With regards to that, like it's still pretty much in line. Still, you still see that shift of assets from like risk on to risk off going like consistently. With regards to the CPI and the NFP reaction, and especially with the FOMC, that's sort of where like very vital points are sort of hit, like where there's a bit of an imbalance that goes on. Like normally, if you look at US sitting on like 5.25 interest rate at the moment, that means like there should be like a lot of strength going into the dollar. And we only saw some strength coming in off of the back of the NFP or CPI. Even NFP gave a bit of strength.
Yeah.
No, it was still weakness.
But it's not the push that it normally gets.
No, so if you look at from a economics point of view,
Yeah.
like you normally want to balance out the currencies based off of the interest rates that they have. That's why, okay, take disregarding South Africa with its high interest rate, but it also has a bit of an effect on that as well. Because sometimes you'll actually see when the dollar kind of gains strength, you'll also see like the rand sort of gain strength.
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's mostly down to because we are a high yielding currency. So it has sort of an effect on that. But for me, and we spoke about it before as well, it's like normally at the moment during FOMC, like if they push up interest rate, you just short the dollar. That's the smart trade to do. But I mentioned this like a couple of times, like I think almost this whole year, it's like for me, I'm still very much keen to see what's going to happen once that first pause comes into play or that first cut comes into play, because it might be the complete inverse of that. That's still where my money is sitting at the moment, and I'm still a bit on the back burner until that sort of happens before I can say okay. Because it might be that a cut's going to be strength going forward until there's some sort of until that inflation number hits like 2%.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's going to cause a lot of movement because we haven't seen for, can you say, a year now since we've been doing the FOMC streams. We haven't seen, like I don't want to say the right movements in terms of the dollar because they've been hiking interest rates and the dollar's been reacting, somehow funny at the end, right? So I'm thinking when the pause comes, the market might still, come to terms with that, but with inflation still going down and then pause. Once the cut comes, the market is building up to a possible cut, I think, in the market. All right, so we are likely going to see those big movements in the market once the cut comes, still building up to that.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
What about that gold? I mean, because they normally correlate well, gold and the dollar. I see gold has peaked at 2000. It's really up there, creating the third peak actually on the monthly frame, just from a overall perspective.
Yeah,
the
gold
peak right there.
Right, the spike. Gold has been a friend of ours for a very long time. We've been predicting nice movements with gold. The clients should be happy. Yeah, you were saying about gold?
Yeah, third peak. It seems like there's a bit of a pause, a bit of a rejection. I've done a bit of analysis. If we were to forecast it possibly going to about 2.4, if you maybe just contract that chart and maybe just draw a horizontal line based on previous movements. If you just zoom out a little bit more and just contract the chart on the right hand side, right there on the right hand side of the index. Over there, yes. Just put it down. There we go. And then just try to find put a horizontal line there at 2.4.
A horizontal line.
Yeah. After that breakout there.
2,400.
Yes. 2,000.
Isn't it up there?
Yeah.
Somewhere there.
Somewhere there. Okay. If we see more dollar weakness come down based on that peak that we spoke about, we might correlate negatively, obviously, dollar in opposite direction, gold pushing up to about 2.4 based on previous movements that started at the base.
Mm.
So that's something that I'm also keeping eyes on. And like you said, this has been a friend of yours for some time. So it's good that we're in the same room together with the same friends.
Yeah. So what is the time frame? Possibly, like I know you can't really know when the market will move there, but what are you looking? Which time frame are you looking at? The next 12 months, next 24 months?
No, I mean, give it a bit of time. I would say, let some more price action. The relative, like you said just now, just a bit of accumulation. Let us find a bit of support because right now it's really flimsy at that rejection point, and it's already proven twice to fall from that area.
Mm.
So even if I said 12 months, 6 month, 24 forecast, look what happened at the previous area. So a bit of more price action there, a few more candles, especially on the higher time frames, so that we can see a little bit more support for that chart.
And what could possibly invalidate that push to the upside? What would you
Two things. What would validate it as well?
validate? Okay, let's start with the invalidation. What would invalidate the push to the upside?
If the US dollar obviously weakens, we see a stronger gold price, which is extremely interesting. Which this is about, personally for me, I've always seen this movement always correlate well together. And as much as there's been imbalance in other assets, the gold and dollar has always moved well together. When the dollar is down, gold is up. When gold is up, dollar is down, and so forth. So weaker numbers in the US can constitute to a higher price in gold.
All right. All right. From a technical view on this, I'm anticipating the market to break where it's rejecting now.
To the upside.
To break to the
To
upside.
the upside, you also expect, okay.
The formation I'm like keeping a close eye here. Where the market is, it has completed. But now, since the wave that is developing here normally creates a higher high, I'm anticipating this to break. Could this push a little bit to the downside? Absolutely. We could still see those pullbacks coming in, but a break to the upside here would then indicate that the pattern we've been following on our education sessions has completed. We've been looking at these movements to the upside to our, on our education session, and some clients got some really nice movements and picks from here. So a break to the upside would then complete the overall movement I'm anticipating there. And of course, there could be a pullback before that.
And that could be a close of the body, right, T? A close of the body above that area.
Yeah, close above.
Exactly.
Close above.
Yeah, you guys can carry on. I'm busy.
Yeah. So a close above. That's what I'm anticipating. But where the market is right now, we are fully satisfied with
We're
this.
satisfied.
Satisfied with this.
Sandy, if you don't mind, can you just put on the period separator there quickly?
So far, man.
Properties.
Yeah, or just go Control Y there, or there we go. Separator.
Customize. No. Yeah. Yeah, right. There we go.
Yeah.
No.
There we go. Yeah. And then just switch now. Just look and go to the weekly. Sorry, a bit of the weekly. Look at that. So it's in alignment with. Can you see the 3 periods before the current one we're in now? The 3 periods, just two periods before.
Yeah.
Where we are now there, on the left hand side there, X.
Yes.
Right? It's broken above that area, but it's in alignment with the previous point on top there, to the left. To the left. Can you see that?
Yeah, I see.
Yep. It's right there. So Tsepo, to your point, the break above there, absolutely, I'm with you. Once we violate that previous high, push out.
Yeah. So, but what gold has been doing so far, I'm really happy with it. We've been looking at it week in, week out, but another chart I want to bring your attention to is the USD ZAR. Yeah.
The 20 Rand chart.
22, man.
22.
Is it 22 now? Oh, you said
It's always been 20.
the USD ZAR. It's interesting because USD ZAR took a long time to break where it broke.
To
If,
break,
if
yes.
you just go to USD ZAR. But it's been a long time. Let me just go through to it.
Yeah, that would be wonderful, man. But what a break, historic break.
All-time highs.
All-time highs. We are alive to see the all-time highs. I know I wasn't here with the lows yet. I wasn't, in the financial markets yet
Yeah.
when it was at its lows. But I'm here for the highs.
The highs.
If you go, just to a shorter time frame, just that area there that you have now.
Let me. Yeah, this is the weekly. This is the monthly, right?
Absolutely
Yeah, I mean,
amazing.
that's a beautiful move, man. And I think the previous episode of the podcast we spoke about this, a possible push to the upside. List all the reasons down and there. And this also has to do with the fact that not the fact, but the news of
South Africa providing weapons to
there we
Russia.
go. There we go. Yeah.
Amongst other things.
Thanks,
you
Sarah.
amongst other things too,
Amongst other things. But there was a big story. Imagine,
Yeah.
like we obviously don't know how true it is, but imagine we supply arms to Russia. That's just insane.
But isn't it amazing as well? Like, what, on your point, right? The story, how news can make this market move in such a phenomenal way, and you're not even really sure if it's true.
I mean, this is what you call sentiment.
Absolutely.
Sentiment analysis. All right, where it's just opinions and emotions around that particular topic or whatever. But volatility causes something like this.
Xander, I have a question. If you go to the weekly chart, right? I believe it's the weekly chart. Look at that rejection at that gray zone that you just drawn there. What do you think? Do you think there was a lot of people that, based on those candle wicks, a lot of people went short there?
Oh yeah. Listen, I was one of the clients from Botswana came in to come see me, and we had a chat, and I told him like, listen, the rand's still going to 22. He's like, no, rand's trading in a range. I'm like, wait for it, rand's going to 22.
When those rejection zones there were
Yeah.
and obviously that was a short, perhaps the individual.
Like they made money, but they still like, I'm still convinced this is still hitting 22. You considering we've passed this year alone, we've already passed the amount of load shedding from last year.
Yeah.
There's once this grid is gonna fail, and it's going to fail in the next couple of months, we are going to see I might be wrong with 22. We might go even higher than that.
Imagine with the pound.
Imagine with the pounds are where that's gonna leave. Yeah.
Like to be honest with you, I think we're gonna come back down and touch those levels. Do like a retracements, and then we'll be primed for like continuations coming.
And to Tepo's point, it might even take very long to do that, because remember you mentioned it took very long for us to go back to that area that we broke down from. Look how long it took for that rejection.
It's lining up so well
Mm.
because it was rejecting off of those
Yeah.
closes there, and then once we broke through and we got to close, this is this month's candle, right?
Yeah.
So if we're closing anywhere above this, we're going to see this fly over the next 2 months.
Yeah. I've been loving the USD ZAR chart. I've been loving the gold chart, where both of them are trading at the moment. Yeah, we are looking at the long-term picture of it, of course, but where it's trading at the moment, I'm not really interested because there isn't much price action according to what I would look for.
What's that level?
That level, I think there's above 40. I'm kidding. On that level, it's really tough to see from here. But put on the price level. Do you know those price levels? No. Let me.
Yes, almost 23.
23. Okay. Yeah. So what I want to see is how the market will react. Obviously, buyers are busy taking profits, or they would want to take profits where the market is, both gold and USD ZAR. So I want to see after the profit taking, what's going to happen.
I think the weather also agrees with us.
Dark clouds ahead.
The dark clouds are hanging, and you can see every time it hits an accumulation zone, there's a burst to the upside.
Yep.
So Xander, I think you might be right with that, with the retracement coming back, consolidating a little bit, finding a bit of support. Unless we change things drastically,
You think they
No,
elections?
keyword drastically, which is not
Yeah.
far-fetched.
And elections are next year, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see anything other than like upside, you know.
Yeah, this is in a very, very strong trend. It's very strong. Just want to yeah, this is just in a very strong trend.
Don't those wicks at the bottom bother you guys a little bit?
Oh no, disregard that.
Absolutely.
Disregard that completely. Like that's more than likely just data, like mismatched data.
If you don't quickly go to the USD Swiss franc there.
Swiss.
Yeah, USD Swiss. Also put it on the monthly. I believe there's also a wick, but the reason why I'm asking that, I believe there's a wick there. Look at that. You know, yes. Some guys call that unfinished business. I don't think we'll ever go down to the USD SAR. I mean, those levels are too low.
Well,
But
when
look
was
at
that?
it.
That was
This is in 2014.
Mm.
So when you say unfinished business,
Yes, that the market generally tends to balance out those long rejections, those long spikes that happen. And you'll see them on a number of charts. I believe the GBP CHF could be lower than that if you maybe go till then. Just
I
see.
think that has something to do with CHF, like the pinning of the CHF. I'm not 100% sure.
Look at that. So do you see how it corrected? It comes back down. Yes, it depends on what time frame you're also referring to. A monthly will take very long, obviously. But if it's an hour chart or a 30-minute chart or 15-minute chart, you'll see those rejections. They actually get balanced quite quickly.
get filled.
Yeah, they get filled, and there's many guys that actually just wait for rejection zones like that so they can trade them shorter. Very interesting how some guys do it.
Yeah, well, their timing has to be on point.
Absolutely.
Point.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a monthly. So exactly. So the guys will use this on the shorter time frames. Absolutely.
Yeah. So the Swiss one, USD Swiss.
Okay, it's on its way down very slowly.
Yeah,
But it's at that support now. It's just hanging at that support. You can see that support very, very, very clearly.
it's an interesting strategy, you know, that people. I know there's something called like fill the what, either the gap or something. But it's an interesting what's the strategy?
Julian like giving his 2 cents. Talks that U.S. sanctions against South Africa. I did read up something today as well, where one of the ministers actually said that they will not sanction us for the weapons. So let's hope that's true.
Oh yeah.
No, like gray listing as well. Possibly, but like I think if they blacklist us, that's room for concern. But I doubt they'll blacklist us, to be honest. Because then we're pretty much in.
Yeah,
There's no coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I was busy doing my CPD today, and we actually spoke about. I was going through there's only 3 countries that's blacklisted in the world.
In the world.
Yeah. So once you're on that list, you're kind of not in a good place. Let's try and think of a good word to say.
Just say that. Yeah. Yeah, secret listing.
Anyone want to take a bet on who those 3 countries are?
There are gray listed.
Yeah, blacklisted.
Blacklisted. Okay, I'll take a stab at one. Somalia.
No.
Countries.
Yeah,
That's one. Okay.
that's not one.
No, I mean like that's one guess.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Okay. Simple.
List. This is South Africa.
No, we great list.
Yeah, great.
Let's say let's see
Let-
from the viewers.
yeah.
Like any of you can list the 3 countries that are actually blacklisted. Put in the comments and let us know without googling.
Without, which is like, come on, gents.
North Korea.
Yeah, North Korea.
Someone says North Korea.
North Korea is one of them. There's 3 others. The one
2 others. So it's 3.
2 others. 2 others. The one you guys might not know. This is a bit obscure.
At least give us continents, because I mean we can Google it afterwards. Give us continents.
Well, Well, if I say one, you're gonna know. Yeah, Iraq is definitely one of them, and then the last one is in Asia.
In Asia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore.
It's close.
Quite close.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if our viewers.
So not Bangkok, Thailand.
No man, come on.
Let's see if our viewers.
Only Trump is spending.
Yeah. So far we've got North Korea and Iraq.
Yeah, both of those are correct.
Julian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, we will. Yeah, let's see what they will say. Yeah. All right. So North Korea, Iraq agreed are blacklisted. So that obviously impacts their currency, negatively.
Yeah, no one will trade with them.
Absolutely.
That's the problem. Like, no one would actually trade with them. So hopefully we don't fall into that. But at the moment, I doubt it. I doubt it. But like the grey listing, I think is a priority at the moment. If you look at everything the FSCA is doing, they want to clamp down on a lot of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. No. Interesting times.
You never
Times.
said what your reason is for gold flying up to 2,400.
Well, just the negative correlation between the US and this one.
Something there has to be a reason. Like there is still reasons. Like we spoke about like the reason for gold going to 2,000, and that reason hasn't really come
To 2000.
like gold going. Like remember, like we spoke when it was sitting at like 1,600. Like there has to be a reason for it actually pushing up to that 2,006.
Okay, so in terms of reasons, do we
Fundamental reason. If you look at the
Sure.
last time gold pushed up to where it is now, that was war driven, and we saw that strong sell-off coming.
Sure.
There's no real reason at the moment.
Oh, exactly.
So there has to be some sort of a substantial reason for it to actually push that high.
Would you agree that some of these reasons only surface after the move has been made instead
No,
of
not necessarily.
so it's always before?
Yeah, it should have happened like when the war happened before gold started rallying. We sort of knew about 2 weeks out. There's only two substantial reasons I can actually think of it pushing up that high, and that might be if we see a banking or not. I'm not even gonna say banking crisis because I think it's somewhat under control. But if we see a housing crisis or something else, the housing crisis at the moment is the only thing I can really see happening for gold to push up.
Housing crisis, gold. How do those connect?
Like to say,
But I mean that's also, if you think about it, there are so many indicators one can point out, like for the dollar to actually weaken and then obviously correlate with gold, whether it be interest rates, inflation rates, GDPs, housing crisis. I mean, there's so much you can pick and choose.
The problem is like, yes, gold has a strong connotation to the dollar, right? But at the end of the day, like there's still a physical asset and commodity like to it. Just like I can tell you, like oil will never go to zero.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no way. There's too much demand for it. There has to be a reason for gold to be 1,400. Like it's massively high. Other than inflation being like a big driver, and that's coming down substantially. The reason for this sort of push up higher might very well just have been down to like dollar strength at the end of the day. And some unsure, like dollar strength and the banking crisis was also a big sort of a driver for this push to the upside. Yeah, interesting. Like I'm still trying to figure out what that reason is going to be, and the only thing I can put a finger on is still like banking crisis. Oh, not banking crisis.
Housing crisis.
Housing crisis. But it's going to go hand in hand with the banks anyways, because there's going to be defaults all over the place.
Yeah.
Man, we'll see when the reason comes. Just see what happens when the reason comes. I mean, but from a technical point of view, gold looked bullish. I think, in my opinion, reasons or not, it just looked bullish. There's someone who says recession and a string of political wars could push gold price above or up to that 2,000 level.
Like we've been already there. That's not the problem. Like we got to where like I thought we would get. Like we had like 2070 was like my target. From here, like I don't know. I need to see some structural changes before I can actually make that call.
Yeah.
It's the same like on my oil calls. Like when you get to a certain point, you're like just unsure on what you want to do. But yeah, political unrest, sure.
Which is one of the main fundamental factors that drives assets. Politics, economics, social injustice drives the price.
See Russia bomb the States and we see the gold fly.
What about the US-China conflict?
No, like there's too much of a dependency on it still. Like I know Julian will sort of contradict, but I still think there's too much of a dependency. And I think China does hold like a bit of a threshold on the US with the amount of debt that they actually do own from the US side.
But Russia and China, they are good allies.
And South Africa.
Yeah. So that puts SA in a very, very interesting position between the three big dogs.
Yeah.
And then like the one thing like from a gold's perspective, I'd love to see what's actually going to happen. Like I know from a global gold production point of view, like we don't produce as much as we do like platinum and palladium, but I would still like to see what's going to happen. Like if we do have a grid shutdown, like and it starts flying, like what's going to actually happen with gold, because obviously it's going to affect supply.
Yeah. Look, we'll see when it happens. You know, price action is the one.
Yeah,
Price action is the key.
yeah. I think. Oh, well, also for me, I'm sometimes in a 50-50 zone when it comes to when the price moves and what the reasons are.
Yeah.
Here's an example. Donald Trump, when he came into power, there were people that said the dollar would tank, but it actually strengthened.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like.
You know, so when
Well, the same with Biden. Everyone thought like the dollar's gonna plummet, but actually the market took Biden's election like very positively. Now it might be a different sort of a story because he wants to run for re-election, but
So I understand that there are fundamental reasons that drives price, but sometimes the market sentiment has a mind of its own.
it doesn't really, right? So people with the most money have to make up their minds what they want to do.
What they want to do. So so as much as there's a cause and effect. Sometimes I think what Tep was saying, price action at the end of the day is going to tell us what is actually happening.
Yeah, because everything is on this, like it's in the charts.
True.
Everything that's happening out is in the charts. It's raining, it's in the charts. I'm kidding. That cloud in USD is up. Yeah, so yeah, we covered a lot of things. So we are waiting for the FOMC now.
Yes.
I think that's gonna come before NFP.
Yeah, but we've got Bailey speaking this week.
Friday.
Oh, not Bailey.
Uh,
Powell speaking.
Powell Friday.
Powell speaking on Friday, but Bailey's also speaking
That's
tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Tomorrow.
What's today? Monday. Yes, Wednesday.
Yeah, well, in the week. Bailey speaking this week. Powell speaking on Friday. They'd like
Do you guys think he's going to give us a more monetary policy outlook there?
well, it is a monetary policy summit, so we'll see. It would be good to actually see what they actually do, but you might just give a bit of a nuggets to what they do. But like Julian likes to say, like he never shocks the market. So
Never shocks the market. Never shocks the market. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll be watching that out. I think it's at 3:30 or 2:30, 4:30, somewhere there. All right. Yeah, we'll be checking it out, of course. So yeah.
Right.
So yeah. So and FOMC coming up, NFP coming up as well. Interested to see what interest rates are we gonna get a pause? That's the question.
Based on what we've just seen.
Yeah. And let's see how the market will react. Yep. Yeah.
Right.
Cool, gentlemen. Yeah.
Wrapping it up. Well, you're wearing a red shirt today, so you need to.
Yeah. As everyone knows, this is now the segment where we go a little bit crazy. But that's gonna change, of course. We're still gonna go more crazier. So red.
It's ironic he's wearing light blue, right?
Blue.
Why?
Hey, Thursday night blue,
Yes.
Man City.
Man City. Guys, I'm not a soccer fan at all. I hope there's any. Well, I hope
So,
there's viewers here that likes boxing. I hope there's viewers here that loves boxing. Maybe some of the guys can comment.
Yeah.
But
But you watch boxing too, right?
I don't. That's
If-
Julian's
if-
sport.
if-
eh?
Julian, come on, man, come on, Ju.
EFC.
Yeah.
UFC.
Julian loves his boxing and EFC, man.
The EFC, UFC.
Both. Oh, UFC.
Yeah.
But you guys soccer fans, 100%.
Oh, like I just want to give a good notice to my Stormers. They're in the final of the United Rugby Championship next weekend.
Rugby. And you, T, rugby.
Soccer, yeah. Soccer.
Shout out to Pirates.
You know, how do you know? How do you know? Yeah, you know, I'm a soccer fan, I'm a soccer fan. Manchester United, Orlando Pirates. And yeah, we're doing good. That's all I can say.
Yeah, top four. Here we go.
Top four.
Is there anyone there that said boxing? Anyone in boxing?
We haven't had comments on boxing.
Is it?
Yeah. Does anyone who watches boxing out there? Yeah. No, they will come. They will come. Yeah. Yeah, but look, it's been a great weekend soccer wise. Other sports I didn't keep a close eye on them. But soccer, yeah. So we'll see this weekend. I don't know who we play, but we'll see.
Isn't Chelsea?
Chelsea.
Got 3 games left. Chelsea's one of them.
Is it? All right. We'll be keeping a close eye on it.
Yeah, guys, I think that's it for today.
And once again, you know, we'll be back again next week with, you know, a new look. You know, might be getting an upgrade. So watch out for the next podcast next week. Keep a close eye on all social media platforms for the details and with regards to everything else, right? So don't forget to follow us, like, share, and yeah, if you guys have any questions, here at tdmarkets.com.
Cool.
All right. Yeah. Ashley, was
Alright.
this just
We're gonna sign us out.
Guys, thanks for watching. With me, the new guy, colleague number 3, as Zander said. But obviously that will change. But really good being on the first show. I'll see you guys next week. Season 3 is officially starting. All right. Wonderful one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.